So I just wanted to do another recap kind of video of where I'm at, what's on the car, and moving forward. So finally got this thing fully charged. Figured I'd do a little front to back about the car and history, how this all started. Bought it in 2007 when I was 19 with the mindset of let's go racing. First thing was weight reduction. Pulled the back seats, back interior, panels, speakers, a lot of the unnecessary stuff, pulled it right out. And it just got, every year it just progressed and got more and more hardcore, more serious, and more fun. So to begin with, stock 89 GT front bumper. Obviously it's been cut up and modded. This is the 93 Cobra front grille insert. I didn't spend the money to get the actual Stallion because I knew I just wanted it hollow to get more air through the radiator. I bought clear headlights and just put a yellow film on them. I wanted to be a little different back then. I still used to drive the car on the street, and the yellow film gave it that endurance car racer kind of look. So really happy with that. It's kind of turned into like the trademark look for this car. RaceQuip front toe strap. Obviously track cars, most sanctioning bodies, you need a front and rear toe strap or toe hook. This is easy, cheap, just kind of loop it around your bumper and go from there. This is a tubular front bumper. I got it from Donathan Racing. I will tag him. I'll put his info on the description here. That probably dropped a good, 10, 20 pounds up front. I have it all written down on my phone, but the bumper itself up front wasn't too heavy because it was made out of fiberglass. It's just the suspension. There's actually like these two shocks that bolt into the frame, and those were actually really heavy. Moving a little bit back, this is a Team Z Motorsport tubular radiator support. I got it angled back because I'm getting ready to do a V-mount setup. That's just kind of tacked there to give me some ideas. Once we get the motor bolted in and K-member squared, I'll know how much clearance I'll have, so then we can really dive in and finish that project. This is a Maximum Motorsports front sway bar. I actually just found out that now they make something a little stiffer, like a version 2.0 kind of thing. I went with this. It's much thinner and softer than the stock 87 and 93 GT front bar. As we know, manufacturers set up cars to understeer from the factory because it's much more safer for your consumer, your average driver. So when you go up 10, 20 times stiffer like I did with coilover springs, you want to go down in sway bar stiffness. So this going to a lighter, thinner bar, it's one benefit is less weight on the nose, right? But two, it reduces understeer and increases front grip. Everyone thinks, in the car world, I see it all the time, the street car guys, throw huge sway bars front and rear. It's going to stay flat and handle better. Yeah, in theory, it's going to handle better, but you're going to have less grip. You're going to feel flatter around a corner, but your limit is lower. So it's not always the best thing to just throw the stiffest springs, coilover sway bars in, and go out and hit the track. There's an art to it. There's a lot of math that comes into play, and then as you get more and more serious with the race car stuff and get the car on scales, and it's just snowballs. MM member, as you know, I've ran the MM pushrod K member since 2010. It's much lighter and stronger than the stock stuff. We all know this. This is the Mod Motor Coyote K member. It's just temporary in there, trying to get the motor fitted in that's been kind of a back and forth process. Still got to do some stuff. I'm going to order the 1/2-inch K-member spacers. Completely forgot to do that. So now I'm sitting here. I did have to pull my Racecraft steering column out. I was hitting that on the driver's side header, so I figured let me just unbolt it, get it out of the way. I did some hammering to move some of that body down there. Still wasn't enough. I took the master cylinder off just to make some room because I was banging up against that. I didn't want to damage that thing. This is the MM manual brake conversion kit, which I've posted up pictures before. Just kind of making that side look pretty. Still got to do it on this side. Still need to finish the seat bracket stuff. This is the relay box with all my relays, fuses, and switches. We're obviously moving the switches now closer to the driver. Phil made that for me. Really grateful about that. I relocated my master kill switch up here. I used to have it here with the old cage. I had a room, and then obviously when I went with the road racing DOM cage, we had to relocate that. So obviously you want that where the marshal can reach it, and you want it where it's within your arm's reach in case anything ever happens. This is a Kirky intermediate road racing seat. I went with this because it's cheap. Honestly, biggest thing was price. Since it's not, what is it, SFI? FIA? I think it's FIA. Since it's not FIA approved, you do have to do an upper mount. So not only is it mounted to your floor, but you have to mount it to the cage. I don't have a problem with that. When this is going to be finished, it's going to be bolted into my new frame rails, and it's going to be welded and bolted into the harness bar, and I'm going to be one with the car. I'm going to be so solid and connected. There's going to be no play. The seat will not move. I will be able to feel everything going around corners, which is what you want. I drive off a feel. A lot of guys drive off a feel. You want to feel the inch of rotation. When you're bolted in and strapped in with your harness, you're going to feel that rotation. Moving back, we have a Drake quick release for the fire extinguisher. Really nice setup. A little pricey, but I like it. My buddy Jeff has one in his C5 Z06. It's designed for roll cages. I'm sure they have other mounts, but as you see, you got the little pull rod. That comes down, boom, bottle drops, take it right out, you're ready to go. This is a DOM road racing cage I had installed last June. My buddy up in Connecticut, Dylan, Detrox 90, he big drift guy. He had a drift cage set up in his SN95, so he hooked me up with his buddy. Saved me a lot of money there. I'm going to add a couple more connections and stiffen up the cage and whatnot, but that's another chapter in these videos. Jesse sent me or gave me an old cooler. I actually have a Mishimoto cooler and this cooler. This will eventually, I was going to run this as a trans cooler. I don't think I'm going to go in that direction anymore. This will eventually be a rear diff cooler when and if I ever go to independent rear suspension. Have the Pro-M Performance fuel pump hanger with the AN fittings. I know I did a little something on that earlier. This catch can and breather setup is for the diff. The passenger side axle tube actually has a breather cap on these 8.8 axles, and if you ever overheat fluid and blow and boil fluid out, it'll just spill onto the track. So obviously we don't want that for the guys behind me. We don't want that, for myself as well, mid-corner to touch some rubber on some hot diff fluid. It'll get slippery real quick. So this is just a safety measure. You don't really blow the fluid having the straight axle. It's not really a common thing, but it's it's an insurance mod. I have a rubber hose into another rubber hose into the catch can. Again, if I ever do overheat fluid, at least it's got an expansion tube, and when it cools down, it'll go back in, or it'll blow into the bottle and vent out. So again, it's just being contained. It's not going to go on the track. Back here's my surge tank. I'm going to set up secondary pump in there. This is going to get filled by my main pump. This is going to feed the rail and the motor, so this will solve my fuel starvation issue. I won't have any more fuel starvation issues, lean issues, and overheating issues with the fuel department. These are Battle Arrow uprights I got in steel so I can weld. This is an aluminum wing with carbon fiber end plates I got from a friend here on Instagram. I will put his information up as well. But that is actually a TA2 wing off the TA2 cars, an old spec. So I got a really good deal on that. And I think this is it for the first portion of the video. I just kind of wanted to give some updates. I'm also running, I know I said I got the Donathan Racing front tubular bumper. I'm also using his rear tubular bumper as well. So stay tuned.